when one analyzes the contributions of honourable members opposite, they came in two types. Rambling incoherence and irrelevancy, that's type 1. And type 2 was, we don't need a revenue authority, you should just fix the public service. The only person who attempted to make a coherent contribution was the member for Princestown, who attempted to give some data with respect to the success or otherwise of revenue authorities around the world. But in his research, he got everything wrong. So that even though there was just one opposition member who spoke to the subject, instead of ranting and raving, that particular member got it all wrong. Let me just read the most recent description of the Canada Revenue Authority, Revenue Agency it is called. And this is the current description. Canadians are receiving better, faster, and higher quality administration. The service delivery of the Canada Revenue Authority has become a model both within the public service and internationally. It is a far more efficient and effective organization than it was as a public service department. It has successfully reduced overheads and produced significant ongoing operational savings. And there is a far more committed and professional workforce and a much stronger management team. But those are just words, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Let me read from an article in the Toronto Star, May 29, 2021, because I noted a lot of the attempts at giving examples opposite were dated. Some were 10 years old, some were 15 years old, some were 20 years old. This particular article in the Toronto Star by Amir Barnea was headlined, "It's time to give more money to the Canada Revenue Agency." But what struck me about the article was that the author went into some detail to indicate the actual, real, tangible performance of the Canadian Revenue Authority, and said that the Parliamentary Budget Office in Canada reported that in 2015, the Canada Revenue Agency added an average of $3.90 in revenue for every additional dollar of funding spent by the Canada Revenue Agency. So that for every dollar spent on staffing and operations by the Canada Revenue Agency in 2015, they added almost $4, 400%. In addition, when they looked further on in the 2015 to 2016 period and 2018 to 2019 period, that increased to $5.70 for every dollar spent on the Canada Revenue Authority. So that is the actual result in Canada, almost a 600% return on investment in the Canada Revenue Authority. But there's another paper I'd like to read from, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and that is a publication from the OECD, a very recent publication as well, Mr. Deputy Speaker. 7 case stories on revenue authorities, examples of successful DRM reforms, and the role of international cooperation. It's an OECD paper that was published in July 2015. And they looked at several countries around the world, and they looked at the revenue authorities. And in each case, in Bangladesh, in Bosnia, in Georgia, in Paraguay, in Rwanda, and in Vietnam, there was a more than 100% increase in revenue collection after the establishment of a revenue authority in those countries. But we don't have to go all over the world. We don't have to go to Vietnam Paraguay, Rwanda, etc., to look for examples of success. We don't have to go to Canada to see the 600% increase in return based on money spent on the Canada Revenue Agency. Let's go to Guyana, right here in the Caribbean, in CARICOM. In Guyana, the data will show you that the taxes collected before the establishment of the Revenue Authority in Guyana were in the region of 151 billion Guyanese dollars in 2016, rising to 171 billion in 2017, 198 billion in 2018, 225 billion in 2019. The growth rate in terms of revenue collection in Guyana after the establishment of its Revenue Authority, 6% in 2016, 17% in 2017 and 2018, 14% in 2019. These are real live examples. This is not talk. This is not rhetoric. This is not rambling. This is not incoherency. These are facts, Mr. Deputy Speaker. These are facts. And there's a lot of misunderstanding as to the real situation. The members opposite, they were in government from 2010 to 2015, 5 years and 3 months. They couldn't solve the problem of understaffing in the Board of Inland Revenue and in the Customs Department. They couldn't solve it. The NAR government couldn't solve it. The Pandey administration between 1995 and 2001 couldn't fix it. And the reason why all of these countries have successful revenue authorities and the reasons why they have gone in this direction is that it has been well recognized all over the world that the public service strictures that have been handed over during the period of independence in the 50s and the 60s, when former British colonies and colonies of other European powers were given independence, all of the public service strictures that were put in have resulted in many instances in organizations that cannot react to the fast changing pace of technology, cannot react to modern needs and modern demands, cannot deal with recruitment of staff in an efficient manner. All of these countries are aware of this. It seems that only in Trinidad and Tobago, our opposition, in the face of what I have just read out, 200%, 300%, 400% increase in collections, $6 return for every dollar spent on the Canada Revenue Agency. The member for Princestown spent some time trying to make us believe that there was some problem with the Canada Revenue Agency. Far from it, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Far from it. Far from it. And I will continue, Mr. Deputy Speaker,